I was actually expecting how many miles have you put on your street bob since you've bought it?
That's coming up this episode.
We can ask that.
Oh, I should go look at my odometer.
We can go.
Because I think, so I bought it with 26, dead even 26, and I'm almost at 10,000.
Okay.
Just within a year riding with the club.
Nice.
It's just club. If I wasn't with the club, that would be 3,000.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's so different. Just riding over here today, putting on those miles, coming here today. Right. I wouldn't do that normally.
And you wouldn't have come down had it not been for a podcast. It's just funny.
And I wouldn't have gone to the Tri-Cities to see goat.
Exactly.
I would have rode to Chelan and back, which is half an hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's the club offers those times when I have nothing else going on.
Yep.
And I want to ride.
So we should be talking about on recording.
No, it's good.
I know. Well, I'm practicing.
No, this is good because what Lurch will do a lot of times, the editor, is he'll just throw this up front. Yeah, he does that before he'll take stuff we're talking because we're already recording. So
good to know.
No, that's why I don't tell people because you just talk normal and he'll figure out what he wants to do. So
Well, I better go look at my odometer so I have an accurate number for the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Once you've had Rick Rack, you'll never go back to Ultimate Motorcycle Luggage Rack Solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless, cowboy. With a Rick Rack quick attach luggage system and quality bag, head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Get hooked up now.
Hooked up?
Ooh, what do we got here? A voicemail. Let's check this out.
Okay, so this question is for Ryan. I think you're a cop, it looks like, so I think you could probably answer this question. If you're riding a Harley day to day as a motorcycle cop, you're probably riding that police seat. I'm looking at putting one on my bike because I have long legs and they sit you up higher and I feel pretty comfortable sitting on it. But is that a seat that I could ride all day on? I know you ride all day on it as a police officer, but you probably start and stop and get off and on a lot, writing tickets and doing whatever you have to do to protect us out there. If I were like riding across country, like I'm planning on doing, I'd be spending probably more time sitting on the seat at once than what you'd probably sit working on it. So I'm just wondering if you think you would be able, if it were you and you were riding across country, would you be able to do that comfortably on a police seat? And then the second question is a little different, a little bit crazier, but I'm noticing that every police officer I see on a Harley, it's either a Batwing fairing bike or something like a Road King. I've never seen one that was a Road Glide with a fixed fairing, and I'm just trying to figure out, kind of curious why that is. So if you can answer those couple of quick questions, I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Dude, some good questions.
Thank you, Martin Royal, for sending that in. You know how you send that in, Cowboy? He went to lawabidingbiker.com/voicemail. And when you go there, you can leave a computer voicemail from anywhere in the world, right from your desktop or mobile using the built-in microphones. And we can play it on a show like this. We love to get our voicemails. I like voicemail feedback. We do. We like hearing your lovely voices. And so well done. And get your, go over there and get your voicemail in, and it may make it on a show. So 2 parts to that question. We do have a great show for you, by the way, but there's some stuff we wanted to cover. So part 1 of the question is the tractor seat. So we run those on the police motorcycles. This is going to be brief, but those seats, those tractor seats, are there for a purpose. The way we ride the bikes is different than you would for touring or just trolling around, basically. They put us in the proper riding position. It's a much more aggressive position. It puts you up over the handlebars in the tank and for all our low speed drills and maneuvers. And they do find at high speed too. But those are basically, those are on all law enforcement motorcycles for that reason. It's just that very aggressive, better centered over the motorcycle riding position. Now, with that said, it's a great seat for day-to-day operations, and I am on and off all the time. And I love it. I love it for the police bike. Me personally, I will tell you, we don't ride cross country, but we do ride, up to 3.5 hours at a time when we're traveling to events and things like that. Can I do it? Absolutely. Am I wishing that I had my 14 Street Glide Special with my heated Harley hammock sofa? Yeah, I want that. It's a way better seat. I would not, me personally, and I'm going to say this with a caveat, but me personally, I would never choose the police tractor seat for long distance touring. I would definitely, there's way better seats, as far as that goes, for comfort. But with that said, the caveat is I do know people that are even older than I that run tractor seats because they bought an old police bike. Doesn't mean they're perfectly comfortable. Truth be told, if they told you. But something like a Harley hammock is also $850, $900. So I could tour on it, but I would not be nearly as comfortable as I am on my heated hammock. Part 2 of the question is the police bikes and why wouldn't I use Road Glides? So that's a very easy answer. Harley puts out each year, and in fact, I just did a YouTube video on it. Check our YouTube channel, complete walk around of my 2018 Electra Glide. I show you, kind of how it's set up with computers, printers, rifles, kind of how the police bikes are different than the civilian version of the Electra Glide. But they come, then there's different packages that you can get, but they come, you can get them with lights and siren and different stock switches for those emergency type equipment and speakers and things like that. And the tractor seat, of course. So the reason we don't ride the Road Glide, or you don't see a lot of those, is because simply Harley-Davidson does not make the police model in that model. They make the Road King and they make the Street Glide, and then I think they make a Sportster model now, if I remember right, looking at the site. I don't really know how much those are used, but the big two are the Road Kings and the Street Glide. And that's just simply, again, because Harley-Davidson doesn't put out a police-specific model in the Road Glide. I think it would do fine as a police bike. I don't think there would be any issues with it. It has the fixed fairing. You can pretty much ride any bike, as long as you train with that bike. You can still do the same maneuvers that we do on the Street Glides. There you go. That's the whether you consider it long or short answer to both of those questions. I hope that was helpful to the community, and thanks again for sending in that voicemail. We're going to cover an email here real quick, and then we'll get into our content. This is what video editing programs to use, GoPro video. So William Samuel emails us at lawabidingbiker.com/contact. He says, just getting into using a GoPro and would like to make videos and combined with still shots of my club's trips. Is there a good free or relatively cheap program for doing this? Thanks for any help. Ride safe. My response basically, So I assume William was asking about an editing program. So here's what I say. We use different stuff here. I don't want to get too technical. We use higher end stuff here just because our productions are higher end, and I need a lot more flexibility and functionality of my software. So we're using programs here, like Final Cut Pro 10, and I use some Adobe Suite stuff depending on what we're doing, Lightroom and Photoshop and things like that. But what I'll tell you is, generally speaking, if you're doing it for your personal use, or you want to send links to your buddies or your family, and you just want to, have something to share with close people, you don't have a huge business and YouTube channel and stuff like that, my suggestion is always, if you can, I would run the Apple ecosystem, Macs and all that. They're great creative tools. They're designed for creativity, and they make it very easy and simple. And they come with free editing software called iMovie, which is an amazing, powerful, free, easy to use and learn editing software if you have a MacBook Pro or an iMac, and they just work, and you don't have to worry about anything else than just getting up and editing your stuff. With that said, so iMovie, I know there's a lot of PC users out there, and that's fine. I'm certainly not saying anything bad about PC if that's what you choose. But I believe there's still a free program, Movie Maker. It was around forever on Windows, and I just don't know because I'm not a PC guy. I tend not to use them except at work, and we don't have any type of those things on there. But I would look for Movie Maker for PC. Use the free iMovie that comes with all Macs. It's, like I say, powerful. And then additionally, if you don't have Movie Maker or you don't want to use iMovie, GoPro itself has an easy and free video editing program that you can get free right on their GoPro site. And it's super easy, especially if you're just doing rough cuts and you're just trimming clips and throwing them together. Any of those free programs, I think, would work wonderful for you. Do you know of anything else? You're kind of a techie guy. You run some GoPro stuff, but
no, I'd say I use GoPro.
Did you? Good.
Yeah, they've got a great system on the whether your iPhone or your iPad or whatever you're using.
Nice.
And their stuff's money. I mean,
for just throwing clips
just
together, rough
quick,
edits.
rough edits. You don't have much control. So if you want specific control, it's not going to help you out. But if you want to just do a quick video for
trim some
Facebook
clips, throw them together, throw some music underneath it.
Yeah. iMovie is just a solid if you got a MacBook or some sort of Apple product. It's a solid program they put out, and a lot of people use it.
Yeah, money. I knew you'd have a little insight into that. Popeye uses, he does the old comic book where he takes a pad of paper and he draws different stick figures like they're running, and then you flip the pages and it turns into a motion picture. Yeah. It's about 10 frames a second because it depends how quick he flips.
Depends how fast your thumbs are.
Sometimes he can get up to 120 when he's drinking whiskey. Yeah. He's 120 frames per second, but let's do this. Hey, Bikeaholics, Zero 3D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for your all-new Honda Goldwing named Goldstrike. Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. Zero Goldstrike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play compatibility. Head over to Law-Abiding Biker.com/store. Check out our full line of Zero 3D products. You almost got me there, Cowboy. What do you guys say we just get into this?
Oh, let's get it tuned up.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Get it tuned up. You like this tune? You don't know, but a patron member made this.
Oh, really?
Pablo Calcerada. Straight up made it for us, our intro and outro.
Wow.
Free.
It's money.
That's how the community does it.
That is how the law-abiding biker community does it. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority. That's right, the Big MM, also known as the
99%er.
Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. That's right. Know that by listening, by being here, whether you like it or not.
You are part of the biker revolution.
Nice hashtag. That's right. That's right. We do have one question for you before we get started. What are you waiting for?
Mount up for another wild ass ride.
Oh, he nailed it that time.
You missed it.
Damn
Mount up and let us.
Oh, you're
take
right.
You on another wild ass ride.
He's going to be very technical. I like it. I like it.
Popeye coming in the clutch.
That's right. Now, this episode isn't technically live. We just did a live one, but I want all you patron members to know, and you'll know because in the back end, you're mid-level and above, you're going to get this episode live video broadcast right here early months before. So if you're listening in podcast format, regular, free, and all that, that's fine. We appreciate you just listening, but everybody else in the patron community got this several months because we batch process. So what I'll do is I'll take this private link, upload it right into the back end of your patron account, and you'll get to see it. You can listen just if you want to, or it'll be video too if you have time to watch the video. Otherwise, you can just play it and listen to it just like a podcast. There you go. That's what we do. It's how we roll.
We're doing it
right now. Real life happening right now.
Right.
We're not live happening
now.
We're not live happening.
Oh God, here we go.
We're recording.
Here we go. Ryan Erlacher here,
early.
Your host of the Law-Abiding Biker Podcast and your
high-tech redneck.
There you go. I also want to mention we're doing something even above and beyond.
Oh God.
For our patron members, and it's new. Not only when we record them video, I do a lot of episodes where I interview people, and I can't really do those live. It doesn't work out very well. So I did quite a few interviews lately, and so what we're doing with those, Lurch and I, Lurch, the producer, is we're taking those and we're also just going to upload the audio into the back end of your patron account. So you'll also get those months before everybody else. So truly now, as we're moving towards 2020 and all that, you're actually going to get every episode. Even if we didn't do it live broadcast, you're going to get either video, audio, or you're just going to get audio, but we're going to upload the audio directly into the back end of your patron accounts. And so you'll be able to listen to a lot of those interviews and every episode months before everybody else. So we're really trying to give you guys access and thank you, giving you exclusive type content and access outside of how we release it to the public as we continue to ramp up and move things forward and try to give benefits to our patron members. There you go. And it's been a long weekend and filmed all day yesterday. And we got Steel sticking around right here. Mm-hmm. If you're watching video, you see Popeye there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It has been a long weekend.
It has.
Me and Ryan were both up for about 24 hours yesterday.
Yes. And we're coming off a live episode right now, and we're on our second. And I appreciate you sticking it out, Popeye.
Absolutely.
And his second podcast ever.
Debuting today.
Because I wanna be a cowboy, baby.
Yeah.
Should that be his official song?
Might
Should we
be.
keep it? I just picked it on a whim. It's kind of a cool song.
Yeah.
Is it too cool for him?
Probably.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy.
I wish I could sleep all day. That'd be nice.
I'd like to slept all day today. I'll tell you that shit right now, dude. That was crazy. All right. So thank you both for being in the studio and riding down several hours from some mysterious location north of here.
From somewhere deep within the earth. You ever listen to Coast to Coast AM radio?
Yeah, dude, that's nice. Wet my whistle with an IPA, a Total Domination IPA here. There's for the video. Total
Delish.
Domination.
I don't like IPA.
It is. You like it too,
I don't
huh?
like IPA.
My IPA brother here, right here, I finally, Cowboy, and Lurch is an IPA guy too, but me and Cowboy, we learned on our Grand Canyon trip this year that we are definitely IPA lovers, and we look, every place we look for what IPAs they have, and
Yeah, if you like IPAs, don't go to Utah.
I like all beer. Yeah, true.
Don't go to Utah.
Good call.
They kill you. It's the same as a Coors Light.
It sucks.
Except for it costs more.
We were kind of getting
Might as
pissed
well just
after a
buy
while.
a Coors. Yeah, it's funny the first day because you're like, oh, yeah. No.
Remember the one
Done.
night you went to, we were sitting there. So this is we're talking about our motorcycle trip, Grand Canyon, 8 days, I think is what the consensus was. But the one night where were we? Logan, Utah. So I'm going to paint the picture. Oh, by the way, our main topic today is
Was it Logan or
us-
St. George?
bullshit. St. George, you're right. So thank you. So the main topic today is we rode through Logan. We didn't actually stay there. That was another trip. St. George. Yeah. The main topic today is we got Cowboy. It's a second episode. We're going to talk about him joining the SF Sworn Few MC. We're going to talk about riding to the Grand Canyon, his riding a non-touring bike. We got all kinds of stuff, but this is kind of how it's going to go. So we're just going to roll with the conversation. These are fun episodes. It's biker talk, but it's going to be very much motorcycle centric and motorcycle related. The last episode that you listened to was kind of us getting to know him, as he's going to be kind of a fixture here at Law Abiding Biker Media and be involved more. So I'll paint the picture. St. George, Utah. We rode in. It was a 100-degree day. We went to the Zion National Forest.
Yeah.
100 plus degrees. We hiked a mile back in. We were
our
tired
cuts and
with
everything
our
on.
cuts.
We didn't take anything off. Yeah.
I got some great footage.
It was hot.
This is all going to make the documentary film, by the way. Everything we talk about, I'll choose what makes it. But I'm teasing. We don't have anything really
it was hot.
sketchy, but it was hot, and I got some beautiful footage. Hopefully that will be out in the fall, this documentary film. And in fact, we've already talked about it in the past when we did those actually haven't released yet. Those are up to release.
Oh, yeah. The summer trip.
The summer trip. Only to our patrons got to see it. But our summer trip episodes will be coming up long before you hear this. So you'll kind of know what I'm talking about the documentary film that will be made off this trip. Anyways, I digress. We were sitting 100-degree day. Squirrel. I am a squirrel, dude. Squirrel. I need a squirrel sound to add to the soundboard. I really do. I need some buttons for you guys to push over there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that someday
That would
we'll
be
have
awesome.
extra buttons over there for you guys? Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be cool.
awesome.
Yeah, when something
I think
happens
we
like
can
that,
with
you
an
get
app.
off and have some
Yeah.
you take
So you can
off
do it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking, that was a squirrel. Push the button.
I digress again.
Yeah,
all right.
Fuck that. All right.
Oh, there goes the whole
Couple different
podcast.
branches.
Just so everybody knows.
This is how this
the
shit
whole
normally
thing's gonna
goes.
go.
We're out of here. All right, guys. We're done. All right.
So this shit always goes. We end up out in left field somehow.
But we were pissed.
No idea we got there.
Yeah.
We were pissed, and because of the weird liquor laws in Utah, we're sitting at the patio, hot, just showered. I come down. Cowboy tried to do the right thing, and he tried to go to the convenience store and get some beer. Not only did he not bring back it's not his fault, so I'm not dogging him, but not only did he not bring back a good IPA or any other beer, he bring back Coors Light. And no offense if all you like Coors Light. I don't dislike it. It's just kind of a waste of calories to me. If I want a beer and I'm going to invest the calories, I want some alcohol content in it and some flavor. And that was the first time I drank Coors Light, but I was desperate.
Agreed.
What? Bullshit. First time that day?
Sorry. Yeah, right. Good call.
Yeah, first time that trip.
First time in many, many years. Now, when I was growing up, when I was in my 20s, I drank whatever was available. And there wasn't IPAs back then, honestly. But I honestly have not touched a Coors. And that was probably at least 3 years since I actually sipped a Coors. Just because
This is your story. I'll let you go.
I like Heffies.
I'm honored that you took one of my Coors.
Yes, I did.
But in all fairness,
it sucked.
When I was going to multiple gas stations
Right.
trying to find a decent
That's
IPA
why I don't dog
in
you.
freaking St. George, Utah.
Your heart was in it.
Man, they wanted the same price as a normal IPA, but it had the same alcohol content as a Coors Light.
Right.
But I could get a Coors Light for $5 less
Right.
for a case.
Right.
So I was like,
I don't blame your
screw it.
decision.
I'm not going to buy an IPA for the same alcohol content. It
crazy
didn't make
laws
sense.
down there.
They do.
Which
That's
we've already
ridiculous.
bitched
Well, that
about
was-
And my
Yeah, that
flask,
was- in our
my
summer
flask was
trip.
out.
Yeah, your flask was already out day one.
Of my whiskey.
So we're
Yeah,
day
day
5
one.
or 6.
It was actually.
So.
You're right.
And we were, that was probably day 2 or 3 in Utah.
Yep.
I mean, because we were in Salt Lake 2 days.
Right.
So, I mean, we've been dealing with this stupid IPA debacle for more than one day, which is annoying.
That was the conversation at every meal we had.
Oh, man.
They're
Every
flavorless.
time. Yeah. Well, even if you got an IPA, there wasn't the flavor of a
No.
normal IPA. So it's just a waste of money. You're just paying for the name without any of the benefits. So.
But we're going to make IPAs half the punch. But oh, hey, we do sell hard liquor. It's like Utah. What the fuck are you thinking? Like, how does this make any sense?
Yeah.
But you can still have a full bar. So can you just put some whiskey in my IPA then?
Right.
I mean, this is stupid. This is stupid. I don't understand. We talked about this on our other
Yeah, we
episode,
did.
so I don't want to dive too deep into it. But
Go Utah.
Go Utah.
Go
Your
Utah.
laws are amazing. You're really
Thanks.
saving lives.
Corey liked my 96 octane drinks that I make back in there. We shared a room.
Oh, yeah, I know.
On the trip.
Oh, my
The
God.
two guys that run around half naked in the hallways of hotels drinking vodka,
In
vodka
Salt
and
Lake,
Kool-Aid.
we scared several people
Yeah,
that
I know.
night.
I hear
Coming from the hot tub.
Let me see if I can do this. This is a real sound effect. So I hear that on my room door. You look out your people. Ah, shit, it's the naked gay guys. It's the two naked guys walking around with a vodka glass in their damn bathing suits because they think they're going to go swim with all the soccer moms. Go hot tubbing with the soccer moms.
Oh, man.
I look out the door. I'm like, I look out the people. I'm like, Oscar, it's Cowboy and Popeye, and they're half naked and they're drinking. Should I let them in? He's like,
Oscar's like, yeah, let him in.
You know, Oscar was like, you make the decision. And I was like, damn it. Next thing you know, we got two naked guys sitting on our bed drinking vodka and occupying our room. So,
Yeah, you guys are trying to go to bed.
we were.
Yeah,
that's why
we weren't
Oscar,
going to let that happen.
I literally look back at Oscar. I shit you not. I'm an honest guy. I go, dude, should I let him in? He's like, we have to.
Kick the door in.
That's right. Yeah. Don't leave Lee up to that option.
Next thing I'm going to hear is search warrant.
Oh, shit.
Oh, good times, dude. The two naked.
That was in Salt Lake City.
It was.
Yeah, it was. That was after the patron.
That was okay. That part was in Salt Lake City. Yeah.
So where the fuck did
I don't even know where we're
Did we
going.
finish the St. George
No,
story?
we're all over. Squirrel.
Totally, dude.
We're all over.
shit.
We're all over.
We were drinking Coors Light out on the patio.
On the patio. That was when
Anyways,
we were
that's-
talking about Vegas.
yeah, right.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
We
Go
told that
there.
story though too. We already told that.
We could
story.
talk a little. He might
Well, I
have
wasn't
more, but
there,
we'll keep
so-
it pithy. But yeah, we can talk about that
Keep
a little
it
bit.
pithy.
Yeah, what do you remember about that Vegas?
Well, I remember us.
Did we
were
go?
surprised. No, we were surprised that we didn't go. I remember Ryan sitting there and we're all hanging
Oh yeah,
out.
yeah. See, this is a good insight.
And you can see all the, soccer moms and families in the pool. And Ryan's sitting there and he goes, we talked about Vegas and I'm surprised we didn't go. I didn't want to go. I would have gone because of all of you guys, but I'm surprised we didn't go. And of course, Lee, we're now at like 11:30 at night. And Lee's like, well, let's go.
Joking.
right.
Joking.
Yeah, he was
Everybody's
totally
like,
joking.
yeah, no.
But yeah,
we're just going to
everybody-
keep drinking.
We
But-
knew after that it wasn't going to
Well,
happen.
Yeah.
and in
We
St.
should've
George,
gone, though, man.
In St.
We
George,
should've
where and we talked about this in the previous episode, but about our summer trips. But yeah, we were an hour and a half away from Vegas. and completely, and I tell people this day, I go, I just totally fucking forgot.
Yeah.
You know, I just totally forgot about it. I think you squirreled me on purpose. You're like, where are we going for dinner? And you know that I like food.
Yeah, right.
So, hey, where are we going to dinner? Well, fuck, I don't know. Yeah, let's
I wasn't going to keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
I was like, if they go, they go, and I have to film this for the documentary.
It would have been great. It would have been
sleeper.
It's true.
Would have been good documentary film too.
It would have been hilarious.
I apologize for letting you down.
Yeah, well,
you would have
that's
had
all
some great documentary.
I have
video.
no idea how that would have turned out, but I guarantee it would have ended up this way. It would have ended up with us getting back, ending up going to Vegas, me filming it, and all of us ending up trying to find a very expensive room in Vegas and sleeping the night and not going back to St. George and sleeping because we would have ended up tying it
two
on.
hotels.
Exactly. That's how it would have ended.
Night.
I don't know.
And I knew that. It would have been fun. I don't care.
That would have been fine. I don't
been
think that would have
cool-
happened though, because everybody's riding.
Dude, Squid was all in. He would have started tying
Squid.
one on. And we don't.
Squid was
obviously.
game in this trip.
Oh, he always is.
I love it.
I love Squid. He's hardcore. He lives for these trips, as all of us
Dude,
do.
after Jackson Hole, it was on.
Yep.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah, he
good.
does. He
Good
really
time.
likes, and I love it too. That bonding time.
Yep.
I wait
Fun
for
time.
it every year, all year. I mean, look at the
man.
conversations and memories we have out of it. So
Yeah.
hopefully if you guys have a group out there, listeners to ride with, or some brothers, man, that's how
Do it.
memories are made. Do it. Even if it's a small group, 2, 3, man, just frickin' make those memories. And sometimes it's okay to go off the beaten path on what you actually had planned. We try to plan it because it's a group and we have to have some sort of structure, but it's okay. And I'm okay that we didn't go. I just, as the filmmaker, I'm like, that would be dumb not to go. I'm going to fight
You
through
just
it.
couldn't, yeah.
Too, huh?
Yeah.
Well, if I had never done it, I would definitely have remembered to do it because it was on my bucket list, and that's riding the Vegas Strip.
Mine too. We're going to do it,
You
bro.
were talking about that afterwards.
It's my bucket list
I've
too.
done it. So, well, fuck, you should have told me then.
I know.
We definitely would have made it
Again,
happen.
I wasn't really
Yeah, you didn't really want to.
excited to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
As the filmmaker, I
Right.
would have went and had fun.
Yeah, and I've never been to Vegas ever.
Oh, you have?
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Never.
Yeah.
I
And I
don't
heard
think I
these things-
disclosed that because
That's okay. I've only
I was a
been
little
once,
nervous.
I've heard these things afterwards, and I was like, well, shit, if I would have known this stuff,
Right,
it would have been on the top of my mind.
yeah.
I'm not a huge, speaking of Vegas, I've been once. I honestly, that's just my personality. It's cool. I could never go there again. I just want to ride the strip, but I don't care. I would rather take that money and go to Maui or
Right.
go to Oahu for me.
Yeah. That's from our last podcast.
Yeah,
in case you
listen
guys
to the
didn't
back.
catch that.
Not a fan of Oahu back
watch
here.
The next podcast.
Did you go down and
Previous.
do Fremont Street in Vegas? It's
been
That's old school Vegas.
Yes, we partially.
Okay,
I
'cause-
went into it
yeah.
partially.
Good friend of mine.
I don't dislike it. I'm not a gambler.
Yeah.
I like
Right.
going to Cirque du Soleil, and all that. I went with my wife. Some of the shows. If I go, it's for the shows.
You're right,
I'm just not a
right.
gambler. I
Yeah.
get really bored, and I'm not.
Well, I can gamble at home. That's my thing.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
it's like I
Called
can
the
gam-
interwebs.
the interwebs.
I can gamble all day.
It's true.
Well, that's actually illegal, but you can gamble. They got casinos and whatnot around, so you can
Right.
You can gamble in Washington State. So it's not a huge thing for me to go to Vegas to gamble like some of these other
Right.
states where maybe it's illegal. But the people watching, the shows, all the shit you can do down there. is
That
fun.
was the cool part.
And like I
Yeah.
said, Fremont Street's kind of a freak show. That's why I was asking if you've been down there. A buddy of mine that I went down, he hadn't been in Vegas in like 40 or 45 years. And for our longtime listeners, you may remember that I rode to Laughlin years and years ago, probably 6, 7, 8 years ago, something like that. Rode down there. I don't know about years and years ago, but quite a while ago, rode down there.
Years ago.
Rode down, and then on the way back north, we went and rode around Vegas, stayed in Vegas. And my buddy, like I said, hadn't been there in like 40 or 45 years. Like, probably a couple of things have changed in Vegas.
No.
Right.
But anyway, Fremont Street's different,
Yeah.
man. Fremont Street's kind of, like I say, a freak show. And the last time I was there, I was down there with a couple bosses, and there was a drunk homeless dude doing like a low,
Dude.
no, it was, and he was like, actually, I was amazed. He was probably in his 50s, maybe even 60, but he was doing like a super low, like the Russian, like where they're like kicking their feet way out in front of them and bouncing kind of up and down, and they're kicking their feet way out and stuff. And this dude was doing
It's a
that. He's
traditional
a
dance.
homeless, obviously chemical dependent type of
right.
person, right? And he's like getting after him, like, Jesus Christ, I can't do that. There's no way. And then there's a drunk chick on a scooter, like a rascal scooter, hanging onto her booze bottle, doing circles around him as he's doing this. I'm just like, what the fuck is
Where am
going
I?
on here? So it's just a great show to
Not
watch.
in Kansas anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No.
So my
all right, we're way off topic.
Yeah, I was going to say that took
love
a
it.
long turn.
We're gonna bring it back. No, it's good to motorcycles. No, and oops. And my deal was I didn't dislike Vegas at all. It is on my bucket list, and I know many of you listening have done it. To ride with my brothers, we will do it. I will film it. I absolutely want to spend some time in Vegas with my brothers and ride the strip and all that kind of stuff and experience it. Just as a family or wife, it was purely like, okay, I can spend this much money at Vegas.
You're a husband, by the way.
Right. What'd I say?
As a wife.
Don't listen to Lee.
Right,
Don't listen to Lee.
Sorry,
You're
no.
fine.
Sometimes
Go,
I do
Ryan.
say really. I'm like, correct me.
Don't listen to him.
Taking that money, I just like, okay, I can't go to both, so where would I rather spend my money? And so for me, it's like more relaxing vacations.
No, I get it.
But we will ride the strip. That's a guarantee.
Dude, I want to.
We did Reno, so I got some film of that. Our Reno trip. That was fun.
I'm not a big fan of Reno. Kind of a shithole.
No,
Sorry
it
if
is.
you're from Reno.
Right. No, and it was fun to go there, and hang and see it. But yeah, no, I mean, not a big deal if I never went back.
Different than the Vegas Strip.
A lot different.
And nobody out on the streets in
No.
Reno and stuff. Inside the casinos are nice and stuff, but yeah, just way different than Vegas. I was pretty surprised.
So we will ride that. And if you've ridden it, if you haven't, put it on your bucket list. You got to ride the strip, get some photo ops and all that kind of stuff, get some video.
What the hell are we talking about in this episode here? I mean, we're
bucket list and riding. We're talking motorcycles.
biker talk, baby.
Exactly.
Biker talk. Motorcycles, freedom, America.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That's how we roll. I love these episodes. So we didn't go to Vegas, but we are going to, and it is on my bucket list, and we will ride. And I know many of you out there listening have ridden it, so good for you. Just one of those things you got to do. All right. Jeez Louise. So going back to let's St. George. That's the end of that story.
Jesus, we're back to
We're full circle
trying
here.
to finish out where we were.
circle.
I had a Coors, and I hated it. And
4%.
And that's how the night ended. Pretty much, we were beat.
Yep.
We were beat.
Yeah.
All
It was
right.
a long day.
Rewinding. I don't have a rewind sound. Okay. But here we go.
All you guys
taking us
watching
to?
the film, he didn't even move.
You're
He
right,
just
yeah.
like rewind.
Just
It
rewind.
didn't even move.
I'm rewinding in my mind. Yeah. So let's bring it back and kind of get into your background a little bit because we're talking about the Sworn Few. We are going to get into our Grand Canyon trip a little bit more. I just like starting like that. Like that was just a natural conversation, and that's when the best conversations happen. So reeling it back a little bit. Listen to the previous episode. We give you a background on Cowboy, but at some point, he got a motorcycle. He's a motorcycle that he could actually ride, with our club, American Made V Twin, and had went through a history of motorcycles and stuff. But he's working out of the same area as Popeye, and he starts getting interested in the Sworn Few Motorcycle Club. You new listeners, if you don't realize, a lot of us behind the scenes here are members. It's a law enforcement only motorcycle club, fully commissioned law enforcement officers, 100%. A lot of clubs say they're 100%, but they aren't. They have honorary members and stuff. We are one. We do have friends of the club, but they're not actually members, full patch members. But to be a full patch member, you got to be full-time Leo or fully honorably retired from law enforcement. So at some point, we're going to get a little history here. From Cowboy, he got interested and had met Popeye. And so I want to pick up, I really want to dive in deep about some club stuff. And then I want to dive in a little bit as we dive into your first long distance trip cross country, which we've already mentioned, the Grand North Canyon, north rim of the Grand Canyon trip, we'll call it. And so let's back up and just do that. Okay. Tell me about, you got your Street Bob now, you're riding. Yep. You got that bike specifically, basically, because you wanted a better bike, but you also wanted to get in the club, right?
Yeah, so I've always wanted a Harley. I mean, that's the iconic American, two wheels that everybody wants to get on. And always wanted one, but started hanging out with Popeye and He pressured me and he was drugging
Good
me
influence.
and it was weird. It got weird a couple nights.
Did he ever rape you? If we're not, we're going to go off now and report it. I'm a mandatory reporter.
So he started. When I first started kind of riding with Popeye, I was on the Yamaha. And
the Yamaha.
Yamahammer.
The Yamahammer. Yep. So, it was kind of cool. I was intrigued.
Hanging out with a dude on a Harley and listening.
It was
it was cool.
Wow. That turned awkward real quick. I was just hanging out on the back of the Harley with the guy. No. So it was kind of riding with them and started to kind of hear about the Sworn Few and what that was about. And I pretty much I got into a Harley as soon as I did, just so I could start prospecting for the club, which I was digging what was going on, and I kind of wanted that group and somebody to ride with and not just be
solo before that?
All solo. I mean, it was funny. I tried to ride, like Memorial Day. I'd try and get all my friends that had two wheels and go, hey, let's go for a ride. And I always wanted to ride like side by side, things like that. And the people I rode with were just like, I'm riding 2 miles 4 times a year, and that's it. Like,
we're heading to the local burger stand.
Yeah, they couldn't. And so it was just, I wanted more than that. I wanted an actual group and to be, professional in how we rode. I didn't want to look like dingbats.
Interesting.
But I wanted that, camaraderie and that kind of tight-knit group that knew how to ride, that were good riders, and could make something happen on a holiday or just every day. If I wanted to go for a ride, have a group.
A holiday? Are you Canadian?
Oh, God.
I'm not sure. So all of you not watching the video, I'm not sure how to respond to that. In the U.S., we have holidays.
You said if it wasn't if we weren't on holiday.
Jeez.
He doesn't even know.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah, sure, you bitch.
Anyway. Yeah. So
what's he talking about?
That's what Canadians call
talking
it.
about.
So it's on holiday.
I know. I was on holiday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I
get the joke,
true.
but it just
okay.
It dropped. It dropped. It fell short.
All right, carry on.
So
just to you.
Right? No, I know. Just me. Bye-bye.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Carry on.
You wanted people to ride with.
Yeah. So, decided to push the Harley a little sooner than I thought. Got on the Harley and started riding with Lee and Big River chapter and kind of being more of a prospect than just a hang around. So it was cool.
Tell me, so you mentioned a couple things there. So you start looking into clubs. This is always interesting. And when we have new chapter requests, we part of our boilerplate email that we send them back is some episodes we've done on Sworn Few. So I'm going to add this one to the list that they need to listen to. Send it. All right. So
Send it.
you mentioned a couple things because there's a lot of choices of clubs out there. And this isn't a promotion, guys, because it's a Leo club. This isn't a promotion for Sworn Few or anything like that, because there's so many awesome law-abiding biker clubs out there. It's just that we have to be specific to Sworn Few here. And there's a lot of unprofessional clubs and there's a lot of other professional clubs. So we're not the only, we don't ever want to portray that we're the only cool club, or it's not really about that. We have a certain set of standards and the way we want to look and the way we want to do things. And that works for us. If you have a different kind of club, we're open to that. We've done lots of club interviews on this podcast. So I just want to say that up front that we're going to dive in a little bit to the Sworn Few, but by no means are we saying that we do things perfect and we're the only way to do it and anything like that. So you say that there are a lot of clubs out there. And so had you looked at, without names, had you looked at any other clubs? And if so, what was it that you didn't like and that drew you to the Sworn Few?
I didn't seriously look at any other clubs when I bought my Yamahammer. The owner was a part of a club and and it was a club I was aware of. My neighbor is part of the club and it's a pretty big group.
Okay.
And, I've thought about it, but to me, it always seemed like, okay, when I'm 65 and retired, maybe I'll get a part of this group because we'll go to breakfast on Sunday.
Right.
Or Veterans Day, we're going to ride around, and that's about it. Okay. You know what I mean?
No, I do. There's a lot of clubs like that. Yeah.
And it's not like I'm going to know everybody's name. I'm going to know one or two people.
Right.
The close people that got me into the club. So I never really looked at it and I never really thought of clubs, and I didn't really know there was anything out there other than that one club and then, you know, some cool 1%ers or whatever. You know, I never thought that that was a thing. My buddy got me kind of tuned into, was it Amazon does that Harley episodes, talks about the history of Harley and kind of their past and what they drove to do. And they talk about they wanted Harley to be a part where people would come on the weekends, hang out and ride together. And it was just kind of a tight knit group of guys, like-minded individuals doing things. And so it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's what I want. I want to know who I'm riding with. I want to be tight knit with those guys and do rides more than twice a year.
So quality over quantity.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Heard that before.
Fact.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So then talking to Popeye and stuff like that, and he kind of started bringing me into the world of the Sworn Few, and it just kind of started all matching up. You know, it's cops only, which, you know, unfortunately, you know, that works for me because those guys get what I go through every day. You know, it's not me trying to explain my life to somebody else.
Plus the military guys, because a lot of our Sworn Few guys are prior military, and so you got double whammy or double deal there, you know,
It's kind of a double edge for me even. It's like I
yeah.
kind of tried to make my group bigger because, you know, they always tell you don't hang around with the cops.
Right.
That's what ends up happening in our profession is you end up hanging around.
Right.
But on the other side of that, though, is like if you think about your own profession, are you probably hanging around a lot of the people that you work with?
Right.
You know, outside work, because that's who you see all the time. That's kind of the friend group that you make. So that's kind of what happens to us a little bit. That's who you're around all the time. So that's who becomes your friends. The other part of that, though, is that, you do have that understanding of each other and what you go through. So like I said, the double-edged sword for me comes in is that I've always kind of thought about it, you know, trying to expand my group of friends outside of just law enforcement. But on the other hand, is that when I'm, you know, a couple states away on a ride, I don't like getting stupid questions about why did I get this speeding ticket? You know, or whatever. So you don't have to talk about that. You can just go out and have fun.
Right.
So that's what, you know, that's a great part about this group.
Yeah.
Good
and
insight.
that's a big thing. That's a big thing. I mean, when we get out of the academy and you start getting into your career, they're all like, well, don't circle your family or your friends around just this. But I have brother-in-laws who are friends, not just brother-in-laws, who are actual friends and have nothing to do with law enforcement.
Right.
So I have a friend me and Popeye talk about all the time in Idaho who has nothing to do with cops at all. So I have a friend group outside of cops.
Correct.
But it is relaxing for us because we're always on edge as law enforcement to have a group of dudes who I can let my guard down 100% instead of 75, 25%. So I'm still 75% active, like trying to be aware of what's going on. And so that's what Sworn Few was for me, was just a nice way to hang out with dudes who get it, who are a part of it, who I trust in any situation. I'm good with them 100%. And so I can relax personally and not have to be slightly on edge, because even with my civilian friends, I'm still on edge. Even though I trust them, I'm still on edge because they will expect more out of me in a high stress situation than
You just looked at it differently too,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, it's
100%.
like if even if you went out and, you know, you're having drinks or something and people
Yeah.
are like, oh, I was having beers with this cop. You know, it's like,
Right.
you know, even if you had a couple beers and that's it.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was having
Right.
beers. And so you just don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You know, with this crew, which is nice.
Yeah, dude, that's some great things said there that I want to unpack a little bit. Yeah. And to wrap that up just a little bit. And you know, with us, I agree with everything you said. It was well put. The additional thing is, even with our club, you know, like you say, hanging around with, you know, people you work with, by far, you know, we work with a lot of people, but just because you work with people doesn't mean that you would ever hang
Right.
or that would ever make it in the club, because they
Right.
aren't necessarily,
Absolutely.
we have the same profession, but they're not like-minded in other ways.
Absolutely.
And we're really good. I think we talk shop sometimes because that's going to be natural, but I would say by and far, our conversations are not shop.
Right.
When we're at a club function, it's about motorcycles. Like our trip, you know,
yeah.
it was getting to know your
trip,
background
yeah.
and you as a family. We still fall back on shop because that's what's going to happen. That's our career. But I think by far, even though we're hanging out with other officers, we kind of realize it's a motorcycle club environment, and we're trying to kind of put that career aside and just have a true brotherhood. and ride motorcycles and have a passion for something else. So
one of the other things I think that helps with that is that since even like in my area is that a lot of us are from different agencies.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
And so you don't.
Do we have anybody in our club that's from?
Yeah, we have a couple.
Yeah, we have a couple that are from the same agency.
You don't necessarily
Yeah.
get people even like, that I can bitch with about the same things because I don't know what the bitches are at your department. And so it's, so it's like you don't team up about that. And so if,
that can be a festering thing. Yeah, right.
So, you don't have everybody talking about the same crap that's going on in interagency. So, but you still have that I guess the like-minded, but the same type of experiences just because in law enforcement you're going to, whether you're doing law enforcement here or you're doing it in Tennessee or wherever, you're going to have that same common knowledge and experiences and stuff, but you don't talk about them unless you got some funny ass story that's off the wall that you're like, get a load of this shit.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that was what was cool about the trip. I mean, we hardly ever talked work.
It's true.
It was just bike stuff.
Yep.
But
and trip stuff and war stories and just stupidity.
Me getting used to the club and past trips that you guys did. But
IPAs,
it was
lack of alcohol and IPAs, right? Yeah.
Middle Utah. Thank you.
Can't
Utah.
get drunk in
Bringing it back.
Stupid Utah. But not having to deal, but you feel personally calmer around that group of people.
Absolutely.
Because like Popeye said, I don't have to worry about the random question like, this one time I got pulled over.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry. I wasn't there.
You got a ticket.
Was 6
20
years ago.
Why did they do that?
Why did they do that? I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah. So it wasn't, we weren't talking shop.
Right.
We were talking bike stuff. I mean, it was cool to be with guys just about riding. And for me, it's new, like we're going to talk about in this podcast, I'm sure eventually.
Might get to it.
What are we going to talk about?
That, long distance rides.
Yeah, right,
I've never been on one.
Yep.
And so getting the experience off you guys, being on multiple trips, every year or so you're doing one or two and just getting that experience, but feeling comfortable talking with you guys and not always on my guard. And that was what was cool.
Nicely said. And then we're going to keep going. We love our sponsors up front, but these people, they're our beloved patron members and they make this show possible. We want to thank the following patrons.
Oh boy, you gave me a tough one here. This is
That's why I was going to take the first three and I was like, no, it's all yours.
Just say the city.
I don't even know if this is a real last name. Is he trolling us? Is that a real last name?
It is.
Just going to send
Holy moly. It's Jad had Pungus.
Had Pat Ungvongs.
Ungvongs.
Yeah, had Pat Ungvongs.
John
say
had
the city.
Pat
Ungvongs. That's a badass name, bro.
San Francisco. Man, that's a long one. I think he just sent something in because he knows when
you're gonna read it.
When I have to do these names and we all go, what the hell?
He told me when he signed up, he goes, make Popeye read my last name.
That's awesome.
Liam Standish at Terrytown, Louisiana, and he is a top tier member. Steve Greenway of Wisconsin.
Oh wait, but Darren Ward, Wichita, Kansas, bring it in full circle. Eric Olson, U.S. military assigned to Germany. He is a top tier
Thanks
member.
For serving,
Thank
Eric
you
for your
Olson.
service. That's
Eric,
right.
appreciate you working out there in Germany, buddy. Anton Skavorsky? Skavorsov.
That's the
of
best.
North Bergen, New Jersey. Wow, that's haven't heard that
Like
one.
a Scandinavian name.
Yeah,
or
that's
something,
Finish
send
it off.
Ryan. Send
Brian
it.
Heron of Sacramento, California. David Leroy, Gherkin of, not sure. David Smith of El Centro, California. Hey, that's right. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon is how you get signed up. Pledge a certain amount of purpose content. No risk to you because you can put a monthly cap. There are benefits such as t-shirts and stickers. You can get in that private Facebook group. It is a troll-free zone. Access to these live video broadcasts and events. You can get podcasts months before everybody else. You get early access. And you can get access to our premium videos upon request for all you top-tier patrons. And they got access to a recent live video broadcast and chat. And we had a lot of fun with our patron members. No better time than now to get signed up. So, reeling it back in.
Good stuff.
Couple of things you mentioned, and then we're going to talk about the trip because I know you guys have to ride home a couple hours here. So, you said up front that when you were looking at the sworn few, you were kind of looking at, you said professional. You also mentioned, here, let me ask this first. Structure. You had mentioned structure, and I know me and Popeye have talked about this. You wanted something with structure, and you talked about riding with people that just trying to get normal, let's just call it normal, non-club people, like friends that ride motorcycles together. How's that work out without a structure?
It's rough.
Yeah.
And
how?
guys, I had friends who I knew rode, and I rode, and I was like, oh, sweet. Let's go Memorial Day. Let's do a ride. And it's trying to organize a ride. Everybody's just like, where are we going? I don't know. Where are you going? Like,
right. And are some of them committed to really ride, or some just like part-time riders?
This is like dude who's doing 5 miles an hour across the whole city.
Right.
Just to go to work and back. And you're just like, man, well, it's really cool. Let's ride side by side. And every time you try to get close, they would just back way off.
There's a lot of people aren't comfortable with that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, right. But you're doing like 5 miles an hour now, and he's 20 feet behind you. And it's like, okay, well, if I brake abruptly, you still have the whole left side of the lane to brake also. So it was just rough. I wanted more because I knew I wanted to push my own skill beyond what I was, and I wanted to ride with guys who were at a higher level than myself, and I just wasn't finding it.
It's like the one thing me and Ryan have talked about is that with a club, especially with a club that is professional and has a what'd you call it? A structure to it.
Structure.
Is that it?
Because friends calling friends isn't structure.
Right.
So dive into that.
Yeah, it forces you to get together. So like with our club, you have to have your monthly meetings and stuff, which forces you to get together. You've always got guys that you can call to ride with. Guys
we have groups set up.
Guys who'd like to ride, who are all about riding. And then we kind of talked about it even like with LAB. Most of us here, as you all probably know, is that pretty much everybody involved with LAB is part of the sworn few. So with that being said, this is like today. Here we are having a podcast down here, a couple hours away from my house. Would I have come to Yakima for another reason?
You got to be here because we have a live podcast. So it forces you down here, right?
I mean, simply put. Here. Yeah, I'm doing a podcast. I knew that we were going to be filming on a bike, so I had to come down here and make sure that work with the filming of the bike and whatnot. So you have obligations and you have that structure that brings guys together, and it's not so much the forcing you together, but it's that structure of it makes you want to get together. The obligation of it to for everybody to meet up, and like we were talking about before the show started, is here we are sitting around having beers, just bullshitting, getting but it makes everybody get to know each other better, makes that tighter knit group of just of that structure to get together.
Yep, I agree.
Well, and that wanted to get together. I mean, today is my work day. I took 12 hours off of work.
Yeah, see?
Today, just to be here.
To get down here, yeah.
The more we get together, together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. Because your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier
That's what she said,
be.
Ryan.
Let him finish.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Hell yeah.
There it is.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no.
Amen.
It's not to toot my own horn, right? It's just that I knew, we've been trying to set this up for...
You should never have to toot your own horn. Have somebody else do that.
I mean, we've been trying to set this up for what? 2-3 months.
Yeah, right.
For me to get out here in Popeye and try and figure it out. And yeah, I mean, if I didn't have the club, I wouldn't have taken 12 hours off of work and left my wife at home to come to Yakima, Washington to do this. You know what I mean? So it's part of that group and being a part of that structure to say, this is important, not just to me, but to the community and toward the sworn few. I want to get on there and talk about what's going on. I want to be a part of that biker revolution.
Yeah, buddy. Hashtag.
So, you know what I mean? You like that? So I like that. It's, we dedicate time. I took time off work. Just to be here for this. And
we've talked about that just to wrap that part up. The structure. Yeah. So a lot of people ask why have a club and stuff. And I know we've had those, you have those discussions over time, but at the end of the day, it's like anything. It doesn't matter if it's a church group. It doesn't matter if it's a motorcycle club. It doesn't matter if it's a golf club or, Kiwanis. I don't know. There's so many different guys. If you don't have a structure and you have forced meetings and you have forced times to get together, it's not that you don't want to get together. It's just that life gets busy and you find other things to do and you find excuses not to do that. But when you're obligated, it keeps that structure. We have lines of communication. We have different group meets set up. We have ride groups set up. And when we plan our yearly rides, we have very organized ways to do that. And it's why the military is structured. It's why law enforcement is structured. If you fail to have structure, things will not get done and it just will not happen. And so if there's any better reason, if you're a really hardcore rider and you want to ride with people, regardless of what club that is, do your research. You probably need to get involved with a club, because the old calling up the buddy before, unless you're really tight, with somebody, you're just not going to get the turnout and you're not going to get the dedication to actually take time off like we do and go on an 8-day trip. You're just not going to get the involvement.
Speaking of an 8-day trip, let's dive
nice
into how it would be to go on an 8-day trip on a non-bagger. Now, most of the guys in our crew, they ride baggers. They eat the miles up. But what if you were a guy who was riding something, say like a
Didn't I
Harley
text you about this
Davidson?
before? Because I didn't know him well, and I texted you and go, "Is he seriously riding a street bob?" Didn't I?
Yeah.
And I was
but
like,
I told you, I'm like, I rode to freaking Laughlin.
right? No, I did too. I just want to make sure. I was like, I just want to make sure he understands if he's. And I asked you. I said, "Has he ever ridden long distance?"
Nope.
Because it's different if you've rode long distance. Okay, this is going to be a shitty trip, but I'm going to do it right. Here, you got a guy with a brand new bike, non-touring, never been on a huge long trip like this. I was like, I just don't want to end up halfway through the trip and him going, I can't continue. So I
home.
I did some
home.
I did
Somebody
some
get me
questions.
home.
I did some concerned Big Daddy or president questions. I was like, have you felt this out, bro? So, anyways,
I don't think it was nearly as concerning as like the Virago.
Right. True.
Like, that thing is going to break down.
Right.
So I wasn't worried about the capabilities of this bike.
Yeah. Right.
And
I wasn't
as
worried
far
about
as
the bike.
mechanical of it. I was worried about the mechanical abilities of the Virago.
True.
And what I'm
Indian
referring
John.
to is about 5 years ago of a trip down to San Francisco of taking a who makes Virago?
God. Oh, it's got me.
Snap.
Yamaha. It's not a Yamaha, is it? Yeah.
Hang on.
Anyway, so of this,
I don't know why I'm blanking that.
yeah,
Virago, Yamaha.
Yamaha. So it's a Yamaha Virago.
Yummy.
And it is an older bike. It was early 80s or something like that bike. And I'm going, God, this thing might not make this trip. Because
Sound like a steam engine.
1,000 miles.
When you start up,
He did. Remember how hard it was for him to start
We were
in the mornings when
laughing.
it was cold?
especially at higher
It
elevation.
was a carburetor.
Carburetor, yeah.
Yep, carbureted bike. And so
It
it was hard for him to start up.
Me and Law Dog were laughing so hard one morning because it was going. Well, and we're like, what is that? A steam engine? Fucking steam engine in that thing, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So the capabilities of this bike, I was like I said, I wasn't worried about that. The Virago I was concerned about, but I knew it wasn't going to be quite as pleasant of a trip, without some of the things that the baggers offer. Now, was I worried about a guy making a trip like that, on the bike that he has? No.
You knew him better than me. So that's the only reason I inquired is I didn't know Cowboy yet. So I was like, that's the only reason. You knew him. And so you knew his heart was in it and he'd make it
true.
regardless. You knew he wouldn't back out. You're like, I don't care how much a pain he is. The guy's not backing out. That's all I needed to know.
I was more worried about the fuel stops. I'm like,
I know.
right.
That was a big topic of conversation before the ride.
Yeah.
So we're going to
Just
ask
about
you
fuel.
in a moment about what, if you knew at all what you were getting into. So before we ask you that question, let's do this. You want to do it, Popeye?
Absolutely. Hey, Bikeaholics, are you searching for the easiest and quickest detachable luggage system for your motorcycle? Rick Rack has just what you are looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps, and bungee cords that can come loose and slap your paint.
Slap that pain.
Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome, quick, attached, strapless luggage rack systems. This father-son team designed something really special that you can't find anywhere else. And yep, these guys ride, so they actually and truly understand the needs of bikers. The Rick Rack quick attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick detach system. Once you use Rick Rack, you'll never go back.
Go back.
What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Head over to the Law-Abiding Biker store and check out our full line of Rick-Rack systems and bags.
Nicely done, bro. Nicely done. So there's the question at hand. Did you know what you were getting into your first long distance trip? And I know we're going, well, we're good, but we won't go too long, but I love this topic. Yeah, did you know what you're getting into?
Are we at an hour already?
Yeah, we're just in an hour.
Jeez.
Just a little less, but yeah. What's going through your head here?
Man.
Nothing.
Well,
All right,
no,
good.
yeah, it's just empty at
Right.
this point.
Did you know what you were getting into? Were
I
you
knew it
fearful
was-
whether you could make it, or did you think it was easier than it was going to be?
No, yeah, I knew it would be long distance. I mean, talked to Lee, and he kind of talked to me about some of the previous trips you guys did. Mm-hmm. And so I knew it was going to be a jaunt. And I was a little worried about being on a street bob and not being on a touring bike or something with, fixed bagger or something like that. But I knew I wasn't going to give up. It was going to have to be the bike. You know, I mean, I've been through some painful things, so it's like, yeah, whatever, it gets over.
Right.
There's a time when it ends, so whatever. So I was just gonna send it.
Nice attitude,
You know what I
dude.
mean? Try and see what happens.
Headed out west, sucker, because I wanna be a cowboy, baby.
Cowboy up, baby.
Yeah.
right.
Theme song right there.
That's right.
I think one of the biggest things that I noticed for you on this trip of simply just being on a non-bagger was you realized you need a good seat.
You don't say.
You know,
No
I
shit.
mean, would that be the biggest complaint that you had? It wasn't like the non-fairing.
Yeah.
It wasn't some of the guys
Yeah,
on
yeah,
our
yeah.
crew have lower fairings or the hard bags and the trunk and all that shit. Listening to you, the bitch was
Yeah.
my ass hurts.
Yeah, even on a
Right,
full
because
touring bike, if you
Right.
don't have a good seat, that's the bitch.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and to answer the previous question, I mean, was this as hard as I thought it was? No. The trip actually went way better than
Okay.
I thought.
Interesting.
I thought it was going to be more of a pain in the ass.
You really psyched yourself out.
Yeah.
Good job. Because
No,
then you
I
have
thought-
nothing
yeah.
but good positive
No,
expectations.
Yeah, I was worried about the fairing. I was worried about cruise control. I was worried about heated, seats. But Popeye's right. The biggest issue that was every day was that stupid seat, because I mean, we're running gas station to gas station. I'm peeking out my street bob. You guys still had, 50 miles to go or whatever it is on your big
6-gallon
tanks.
tanks, yeah.
I was peeking those out, but you're doing 150, 94 that one stretch, which was, I was on fumes at that point.
Oh,
But,
God.
I mean, you're doing that many miles straight.
You
Yeah,
have to plan our gas stops around
Yeah.
you. We had to make sure basically we
Right.
didn't go over
Basically,
180 miles because we knew that was about all you could do. Whereas
Yeah.
we're probably up around a little over 200 or something.
Depending on
So
the wind,
obviously,
240
yeah.
max if it's a
Yeah.
nice, not windy day or something.
Right.
But we try to cap it at about 200, 220.
Yeah. So I was a
Somewhere
big
there.
drama queen that drew everybody down to my level at
Mm-hmm.
about 150.
Yep.
And, that was the biggest thing is just, I'm trying to adjust my seat and trying to adjust my position on the bike. Cause that long.
I saw a lot of that. A lot
You
of
saw
that.
the wind challenge in
Oh, we
St.
gotta talk about that.
George. Yeah,
Yeah.
you saw that happening.
That was
real
hilarious.
life.
Got that on video.
Yeah.
What was the biggest?
We'll make the documentary.
Yeah.
What was the biggest advice I gave you? Do you remember before we left? You called or texted me and asked me, what was it? What's the biggest? What's the best advice you have for going on a cross country trip?
I remember the conversation because
dig
I
deep.
remember texting you and going, bro, what do I need? This
Oh.
is the first time I've done anything like this.
I remember what your answer
Yeah.
was because you told me what you told him.
Talking about not packing for the weather here.
Oh, yeah.
Pack
yeah,
for
yeah.
everything
you
but the
said
weather
pack
here.
for all the weather. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I had bought rain gear for the trip.
That was
I knew
smart.
That was
Most guys aren't that smart.
well, the first big
Had
ride.
a few of them, haven't we?
Yep. I can remember.
Well, in the first big ride I did with the club, when we went over to the west side, we got drained. Remember, we got poured on coming out of YTC. Mm-hmm. And everybody else was putting rain gear on, and they're like, "Hey, you got anything?" I'm like, "No, I got it. I got
Not
leather
yet.
chaps."
Oh, God. Yeah. My leather's
I'm
rainproof. My leather's
I'm good.
I've seen
Yeah.
videos. It's rainproof.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't get heavy and soaked at all.
my gloves were frozen by the time we got to the top of the pass.
Oh, I know you're talking about. You're
So-
talking about going up and over Highway 410, Chinook Pass.
Yeah.
Riding
That'll do it.
that up over doing
that
the 1,
was-
2, 3. We rode down to south of Seattle always. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it got
So
pretty
that's-
cold because shit, it got down
It
to
got
probably
freezing
mid
up
30s
top,
heading up and
yeah.
over the top that day.
Yeah, so that's when I got my prospect cut. That was the first ride. I picked it up here in
Nice.
this area, and then we went over and no rain gear. Everybody else had rain gear, and of course everybody's cool and's like, "Do you want my coat? Do you want my pants?" And I'm like, "Of course." I'm like, "No, I'm a
Tough
prospect. I'm gonna handle this. You guys stand away." So my gloves were literally frozen on the ride up and over because we were wet, and then we got really cold. So I bought rain gear for the trip.
At least
To
you're a
make
quick
sure
learner.
I had those, yeah.
At least you're a quick learner.
So, yeah, no, that was Lee's biggest thing.
What about on a bike that size? Did you have any problem trying to pack? Trying to be able to haul everything that you thought you would need
Yeah.
for that trip?
It's a great question.
Thank you.
Popeye. Thanks for transitioning. Yeah, no, I wanted to have saddlebags on the bike before the trip, which they had none on there. So I put some hard bags on there. They're Viking. Their instructions suck, just so you know.
It's a theme around law-abiding biker media, which is why we make videos, because paper instructions suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were horrible. So, but the bags are cool. They're lockable, and that's what I wanted. Hard, lockable bags. So, with that, and then a waterproof Patagonia duffel bag with backpack straps. For me, I mean, I'm a easy guy. I'm used to living out of a bag.
Right. Look at Popeye. I thought there was
Nothing.
something I don't know about. All right.
No, it was good. I actually didn't. I have the sissy bar on there now. I didn't have that on before, and I wish I would have planned a little better and had that on there so I could strap more if I needed to, because I have a waterproof bag. But I felt like I packed pretty well. I wasn't running out, and I knew I was going to buy some shirts at some Harley dealerships because it was my first time.
That's how I do, dude.
Yeah, well,
Harley shoes.
and I had
Harley
to buy
shoes.
freaking Harley shoes. God dang it!
They're probably the best shoes you've ever worn because they're Harley.
Man, they're
Probably
so
walk
comfortable.
faster.
Oh my god!
50% more.
Exactly.
Yeah, it looks a little taller.
Oh dude,
Harley
runs
tanks.
a little faster.
Yeah, right.
it's money.
Yeah.
They'll last forever. They're Harley.
Donger an extra 3 inches.
I definitely feel manlier sitting in those. So yeah, I knew I was going to get some shirts and stuff, so I packed a little light there, but no, I felt like I packed well with the saddlebags and the one duffel. That was perfect for the trip, for sure.
So what was your, I guess let's talk about, so we talked about seat on a bike like that. Probably because I saw you stretched out a lot, probably the mid controls are an issue. That's not
Right.
for a touring bike. That's why no touring bikes have mid controls, because your knees lock up.
Yeah.
You've at least got forward pegs that have been put on
Yeah.
that bike, which help stretch out.
Yeah, I think it's nice just having more than one position.
Yep.
So whether on a touring
That's what I tell.
bike,
That's what I tell my wife.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But we've been married a long time. She doesn't agree anymore. It's
you lost
Missionary.
that. You lost that ride. You lost that about 5 years ago.
yeah. Trick sex is over. Yeah. Yep.
This does it for me. Let's stick with this.
That's right. Okay, we're
So
off track.
it's- yeah.
Squirrel.
It's nice having more than just one.
Yeah.
So having the forward pegs with the mid controls, or you guys having the highway pegs, and then being able just to change the position of your legs
Yep.
on a long trip. I mean, that's just critical so you don't cramp up or.
How's the cruise
Lock it up.
control? Because you ride.
my God.
I remember riding bikes in the past,
Yeah.
and I mean, way long time ago when I had my old Wag Glide and big old apes and no fairing and a
Right.
big old custom seat. I mean, 3.5 hours was a long fucking trip.
Yeah,
And,
so-
we didn't have cruise control, and the
Yeah.
throttle locks suck, and the throttle locks. That was
I'm
the
not
stupidest
gonna
system.
do the suicide.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do
I'm-
that.
Suicide cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah, suicide
Fuck that.
cruise.
Is that
It's
what
just-
Cruise has? Suicide Cruise?
It has that little stupid
That's the thumb lock.
tensioner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
Fuck that.
work.
No.
So how was I mean, that's got to be horrible.
So honestly, I thought that would be one of
Yeah.
the biggest issues I would have on this ride, because I can't take that arm off of the handlebar at all, my right arm, because you guys are just cruising away. As soon as I drop it off, right, I lose speed.
Yep.
So I was
Well,
like,
most of us aren't running cruise. The only guy running cruise should be the front left.
depending but
Well-
guys taking up the rear like me,
Yeah.
riding in the rear, not taking up the rear.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
I said it before you could jump on it. Okay, we're done with that. But
I vaguely remember you, Popeye, when we're in the middle of the stack, putting it on cruise just to shake your hands out and look at me like,
Right.
look what I can do. You can't do it.
Oh,
So depending on where
you
you-
go for
yeah.
a second, yeah.
So for a second, right. That's
or
what
in
I
the
was
pack,
saying.
if you're
Yeah.
like if you are in the rear like me, I'll fall back a little bit. But I will put it on cruise and just kind of
Right.
hit resume to bump up
Right.
and try
Yeah,
to
try
match
and
speeds. But it
match
does
it.
depend
Yeah,
where you
yeah,
or if
yeah.
you're riding staggered or two abreast. But
Right,
yeah.
right,
Anyways, we know
yeah.
that.
So I knew I was concerned that would be one of the main issues, and it didn't bug me as much as I thought.
Okay.
And so I think it was partly because I just lost feeling in my arm about a mile and a half in,
Nice, dude.
and
Honesty.
I just gave up on it. Like it just was there.
Yeah.
And so I would adjust throttle based.
Did
on
you like have one of the cramp
wrist
busters or
positions.
anything? Did you put one of those plastic cramp buster
I
things?
did nothing.
You know what he's talking about, where it's on your
yeah.
palm and
I had
and
that
push
on
back?
my
Yeah.
Yamaha.
Yeah.
But I didn't do anything, and I just thought, man, this is gonna suck.
You don't have one
But
on there, huh?
It didn't.
Hardy makes one
Yeah.
that's $90. That's way better than the Yamaha one.
I need to upgrade those bad
Makes
boys.
your bike go
anyway.
faster.
Makes your bike go faster, dude.
But it really didn't bug me as much as I thought. And I think partly because it just went numb and I
Right.
just left it and just was like, well, I'll shake it out when we fuel up. And so I just kind of left it alone. But cruise would have been nice, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was critical. I'll do that trip again any day without cruise.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
Good to know. I want to talk in a minute about what the, thing that was most troublesome or I guess the worst part of it for you. And then we're going to talk about the wind day and kind of some of that. And let's do this real quick. Hey, Bikeaholic, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? 030 has 030 has products you dream about for your bike. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson and Honda Gold Wing motorcycles. 030's got your back with chrome and black parts lighting, other comfort products. That's right, no modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation that equals less time installing, more time riding. We love that. 030 has a design team of riders with over 40 years experience with a passion for design and innovation. Zero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them. Email sales@030.com. Give them a call, 715-808-0027. Check out your local Harley or Honda dealership and ask for Zero or Gold Strike parts. A new leader has emerged. So check out 030's custom line of Gold Strike products for the all-new Honda Gold Wings. Better yet, help support us. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of 03D products.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So, diving back in, and we are going to wind this down. Start winding down. We're on the downhill slope. Talk about riding in the wind coming into St. George. Was it St. George?
Yeah,
on our
that's
way.
where it was.
I
We
just remember
just
right
came out
before
of-
lunch.
Yeah, we just came out of Zion.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, we just
came.
came.
It was the first night we were trying to get to the hotel.
Was it coming out of Zion?
Yeah.
I thought it was on our way to St. George that night on the freeway. I just
That would have been.
Oh,
We
yeah.
came out of
vaguely-
Yeah,
Zion,
that would
we're
have been, though. We came
Coming out of Zion, we're
Oh.
heading south into St. George.
okay.
Yep. First night.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And you were yeah. My bad.
Yeah. So
We're
we
headed
just-
into Zion.
No,
Towards
we just
Zion or
came
out of Zion?
We
Out
just
of
came
Zion.
out. We're trying to get to St. George.
That's right.
To the hotel.
Yep. So wind is brutal enough on a fairing bike touring.
Right.
I mean, yeah, we cut through it. But how is that? How did that work out for you? I remember vaguely. Let me just paint the picture.
Yeah.
Number one, your legs hurt. Number two, I want to know if you had your bike floored in a minute. And number three, you're like Superman. That's all I could think is you're laid out with your legs like not even on the pegs, like back towards your rear wheel, and you're leaned forward. What type of bars too? Talk about your bar setup and just how that worked out for you in the wind and why you were doing what you were doing.
Yeah. So we
Besides trying to hump your seat.
I was getting all up in that gas tank. You know what I mean? We came off of Zion and then we hit the freeway, and that's when the wind really started to pick up. And so for those of you that ride fairing bikes. It was thrashing me left, right, up, down. It didn't matter.
I actually felt bad for you.
Yeah,
for
I was
about
going.
a minute till then I started filming.
I was going
didn't.
everywhere, and so going back to my tank 250 days, what we talked about in the previous podcast. Make sure you listen to that.
Definitely.
I had to get low. So I wanted to get behind my little fairing I had on, or windscreen I had on my bike. So
why? Just because it was. Do you feel like a sail, or is it because you were floored, or?
So no, I wasn't floored.
Okay.
That 103's got plenty of power.
Okay.
I could have kept accelerating. It would have sent me off the bike, and the bike would have kept going.
Right.
That
Yeah.
103's got so much power. But it was just jostling me all around, and it just wasn't fun ride. I was just kind of annoyed by the wind. And so I was trying to get below.
Brutal, dude.
Yeah, it was.
Beats you up.
It was, yeah. So I was trying to get below that little windscreen I've got. So I was trying to get below it. So I knew I needed to lay on my tank. And so I was trying to pop out my passenger pegs because I had to do this on my tank to do highway speeds to go to work. Is I'd pop out my passenger pegs, lay on the
Your tank motorcycle, that old tank
and then
motorcycle.
just ride it. Yeah.
Nice.
And so
bringing back the old days.
Yeah. So it was experience. Hey, everything we do.
True.
So I was trying to get as low as I could to get out of the wind, just so it wasn't pushing me around, because it's just annoying. You just we've been riding all day. It was hot. I was really looking forward to the hotel and 4% IPAs. So in Utah, thank you, Utah. So I was trying to get low. So yeah, I just kind of kicked my feet out, laid down flat on my tank, got behind that windscreen I have, the Memphis Shield, and just kind of rode it out. And that was way better for me. I wasn't getting jostled around, but
that's brutal.
Yeah, it cut through the wind a little better than me just standing straight up and taking all that wind.
Wasn't as bad as the wind that we were going through down on Vantage when we were coming back from that trip.
Oh, that
gets very last day.
Yeah.
Last day of
same
the
coming
summer
back
trip.
to Yakima.
Yeah.
Coming home,
From
but
Tri-Cities.
Vantage gets worse.
I know.
And I've spent a lot of time working down in that area.
Yeah.
That is the worst wind I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It literally at one point blew me. I was riding dead center in the middle of the lane because we were getting blown all over the damn place. And at one point it blew me all the way over to the fog line. And as quick as I could react, it felt like my tires had actually slid on the ground. But I was up against the fog line. I mean, it almost blew me off the road.
Dude.
It was crazy.
It's intense.
That's funny you bring it up, because looking at the notes, that's my worst moment of the trip.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean,
never ridden in wind like that before. That intense?
not that intense.
I've never ridden in wind that intense.
Yeah.
It was absolutely insane.
I mean,
Only time I got that was through Montana one time. On Sturgis Jeff was with me and Indian John. We got it like that, and I couldn't lean my bike almost any farther to beat it.
Right.
And that was
and that would that's
try to
that
lean as
more
hard as
constant wind
Yeah,
though,
that
where you're
constant,
always, and that was this one too. We were constantly
for
having to
some of
lean
it.
into the wind, but then you get so many canyons and stuff going through that Vantage cut down there.
Yep, gusty.
Down
There'd be
through
gusts.
what are those towns down in there?
George.
No, the other way down
Vantage.
through next. Yeah, it's next to Vantage, and then you start heading more south.
Yeah, you've got Crescent, right?
Crescent Bar, but no,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
that's
Mattawa.
over by
Mattawa,
It's the
yeah.
Mattawa area.
Mattawa. Desert Air, Mattawa.
Mattawa,
Yeah.
And so you get all these canyons that go through there, and every time you hit one of these canyons, you'll get blasted with a side wind. So not only are you getting this
Catch you off guard.
constant regular wind that was just absolutely
or
howling,
sideways.
you would get
trying to
another
just go
wind that would
straight.
come in and just absolutely nail you, and it'd push you into the other lane. I mean, it was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah,
Worst wind I've ever ridden in.
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Crazy.
Nuts.
It was nuts.
Way to end the
It was
trip when
nuts.
you're already
Man,
tired
I
as
thought I was
shit.
gonna die.
I mean, you're talking the Columbia River, which really doesn't get a whole lot of big waves on it.
Oh, it's the ocean, Vantage Ocean. That's what we always called it growing up.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you were looking at like 6 to 8 foot waves on there. I mean,
Big old white caps.
There
like I
were
said, I have-
whitecaps on the river.
Years
It was
ago, we had
crazy.
not even white cap. You get white caps in that area quite a bit, but
Yeah,
I've
Vantage, yeah.
Yeah, I've worked several years ago. The dam had a crack in it, and so they shut the river down, and I was out there working.
Right.
Not
Popeye
quite
was
a day-
inspecting the crack every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's
Paying me
good at
over.
that.
They're paying me
Somebody's got
overtime for it.
Oh, I remember this. Just milking the tip. I remember
The
this.
fleecing
I was
of
jealous.
America.
I was jealous.
Dude,
Absolutely jealous.
Easiest overtime ever. Is fun, but they had us out on the river like every day. And so I've seen a lot of weather down there, and by far biggest waves I've ever seen down in that area. It was nuts. It really was, but it was dangerous.
Oh, dude. Well, Popeye's running almost center, and I was kind of right wheel track, and the wind was just killing us. So I went behind him center, left wheel track, and again, Popeye and me are similar build in person, but his bike is heavier and mine's light, and it sent him all the way to the fog line. So guess what it does to me?
Mm-hmm.
And we were going straight into a jetty rock by the road. I thought I was going in it.
Oh, that bad. Huh?
And we're 20 minutes from home.
crazy.
And I'm like, I'm going to freaking wreck out after an 8-day trip, 20 minutes from home because of the effing wind.
Most accidents 1 mile from your house. Yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, it was just,
it's crazy.
It was just crazy. So that was the worst part of my trip.
Good trip though. That was a good experience on a bike that's, like that. It's a different experience than a bagger like we're all riding.
Right.
But what'd you do yesterday? Or no, it was like last week. What'd you do? When got on a what year?
Oh yeah.
We don't want to talk about it.
Tell me this real quick. What would you, for the listening audience, because this is supposed to be about advice and experience, and because there are some people listening that have non-touring, but they can't afford a touring yet, and some of it's financial.
Or don't want. And they're thinking, I'd really like to get into this touring game. And let's just say they're not 20. All right.
Got it.
Is it something that, you don't plan on doing it on this bike forever. You're already looking at touring. This is not a long game on this type of bike, right?
Wow.
Your long game
question, Ryan.
Right, yeah, that's what I do.
Question.
The host, I'm good at that.
Yeah, so I hopefully will have a street glide within the next 2 years. That's my goal.
Because you want to continue touring.
Just distance. I mean, it's just the luxuries. I think we got lucky on this ride. We didn't have varying weather.
Right.
We got rained on twice, but it was like
pissed on.
Yeah, super. It wasn't crazy rain. We didn't even pull out our rain gear. So, I think that's where touring bikes really stand out. Is that one day we were coming out of St. George going to Twin Falls, and I was freezing my nuts off. For all of you listening, everybody else. So I actually had to go up to the front.
Wasn't I dogging you too? I was like,
yes,
I'm getting hot.
You were being a dick.
With my heated gear and heated seat and heated grips, I was like, I'm actually getting hot.
I had to go up. I had to go up to the group at a stop sign and say, hey, I need to put a coat on. And we stopped, and everybody's like, oh no, I felt good with my heated seat and heated grips.
I go, actually, I was getting hot.
And they're like, oh, I was getting so warm. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you guys. So I think in inclement weather is where you're really going to see the pros of a touring bike, where you can just kick on your seat when you're slightly chilled, or your handlebars or whatever it is. But the trip overall, I do that every day on my street bob.
Yeah.
It was, my butt was a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
But,
not the first time. I had to do it.
But, it really wasn't that bad.
Okay.
And so
how old are you?
32.
Let's give it context.
31?
Because that
No,
helps.
I'm turning 33 in December.
That helps the listeners, right? To put age context. Because I guarantee if you were 47, you'd probably be sitting here saying something else like me.
If you're older, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and to be perfectly honest, I haven't lived the most kosher life.
Yeah,
right. Being heavy, carrying, I don't want to say that.
You're going to do mind over matter.
Yeah.
And you're going to minimize.
Yeah, I've got years on these joints and stuff like that, just based on the life I've lived. It's been not easy, but it's not crazy hard, and I'm not super old, but it wasn't that bad. So if you're in your 30s, 20s, a street bob, you can do it. And if you get good equipment, like, a heated jacket would be nice. Something like that's going to help in the cold weather. But you can do these tours, long distance on a street bob. It's not that hard. But if you want to be super comfortable and have all the amenities and all that.
And I would say less fatigued.
Because
the wind, for us, we're going to be way less fatigued than you after riding, hundreds of miles
St. George
and a headwind.
Ridiculous, Yeah, then a touring bike's going to be perfect. And that's why I'm going to move to one, because I plan on being a part of this club and doing more trips like that. And I made those modifications to my street bob before this trip because I knew that would be a factor.
Right.
There
are things you can do.
I put a screen on my bike. I put saddlebags on it to help, and
Good
a biker
call.
gripper and things like that to help with the experience. And those did. Without those things, the trip would have been a completely different experience.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Planning ahead
Thinking
is
ahead.
big. Yeah.
yeah, thinking ahead.
Yeah.
As we wrap it up, and then any follow up questions, because God, there's so much. We got to call it, but because there's so much I could continue to talk about the trip. But I guess getting involved with the Sworn FUMC up front, were you aware that we rode that far, and was it what you wanted to kind of get involved with, like, or did you think at first we were just another club that rode around and?
Yeah.
Because we don't really do the events. You get
Right.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
we do.
No,
we're
for
about
sure.
riding. We're about riding and our own brotherhood, not really
Yeah.
looking cool at events and stuff.
No, I knew you guys put on miles, and that's kind of what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for just hey, it's Memorial Day, let's go ride.
Let's go to
once
Hogs
a
and
year.
Dogs at the Harley
Yeah.
dealership. And
Yeah, we're
ride.
just going to go
Nothing wrong with that, but yeah.
go 5 miles. That's it. I knew you guys put on miles, and that's what I was excited about. And Popeye told me straight up, he's like,
You ready to ride?
you got to commit. You're going to commit to these big rides. I mean, this is what we do
Yep.
as a club. And I was all about it, man. I was excited. And this year's trip didn't disappoint. I'm all about it. I'm in it. So next year, I'm looking really forward to Sturgis.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to
excited
just
talking about it.
growing. Yeah, keep growing my experience and getting a new bike and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
Really look forward to it.
And Cowboy, we talked a little bit. He's thinking you want to keep your Street Bob as your,
do.
because that's a cool bike, and then get a touring.
Yeah.
Everybody
I love that
needs a
bike.
couple bikes
You
in the
do.
garage.
I mean, why not?
I love
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
Couple
American
guns,
dream.
couple bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a good bike.
Couple
I really
different
like
bottles of
it.
whiskey to choose from.
That's right, buddy. That's right.
Yeah.
One bathing suit so you can walk in the halls naked, half
right.
naked. That's all you need. Full face or a half helmet
Oh, man.
for the audience.
So,
How'd you run this trip?
my helmet.
It makes a big makes a big difference on an unfairing.
My helmet was that Harley, but it's a Scorpion. It's kind of that.
I think I pushed you into getting a full face, so didn't I?
Well, you talked about it, but I had already bought this modular whatever.
It's
I knew
the
I
Scorpion
wanted.
conversion.
Yeah,
Everybody
the
knows what it looks
conversion,
like.
the
It has a
modular.
very
Yeah.
Because you
And
were wearing
Chewy-
a half
Chewy
helmet
had
Because I
forever.
was a half. Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, on a freaking long ass trip.
right. Yeah.
And I've learned, we've kind of all learned our lessons over the year of saying, fuck, you're doing that many miles.
We're all finally
Yeah.
over the testosterone of
Yeah.
a half helmet and go, yeah, that's just smart because I can get and still have energy when I get to
Right.
destinations.
It's a big difference.
And so I wear that helmet every day. I mean, I like it because it's a full face, but it's not as quiet as some of your guys' helmets. And I put a
Can't have a phone call with yours.
Yeah,
well,
right. Yeah.
I could, but
Call the
it wouldn't
wife.
because I put a Senna on it.
Without the fairing, I bet there'd be too much
Yeah.
wind noise with that helmet.
But it would be super windy in the mic to get anything out. But I put one on there, the low profile, and for music and things like that.
Yeah, right. Oh, so you had tunes. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because on these long trips,
Oh man, it would drive me nuts.
I know
think.
we're winding it down.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
yeah.
my hope is when I get a Street Glide, I'm gonna buy a fancier, like a shoey or something like that, and actually put a showy, however you say it.
I mess
like
up every
shoey.
time, but I finally found
Shoey
out it's
sounds
showy.
funny.
It does.
I like showy.
I had to spell it out.
So-
SHOWY, showy. I did when I was doing some videos, so I didn't say it wrong. Because guys always say, showy. All right.
Yeah, so I'll get one of those when I get a more touring bike. But this one I wanted to keep kind of street, and so I can have
It's your first Harley.
tunes and things like that.
How cool would that be?
But
to keep
still
that?
have the cool look and look somewhat menacing because
Right.
that's cool. But
No, you looked menacing when you were sprawled out, humping your seat with your legs behind
Look
you.
at that badass.
Absolutely pain. Oh yeah, you look badass, bro.
Yeah.
I made sure and pull up next to you with my GoPro.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you looked menacing. All right.
it worked with the Sworn Few patch.
It's one for me. I get one per episode. One per episode. All right, Popeye. Do you have any follow-up questions? I mean, there's lots of stuff we could
So
say, but anything
much.
that's
I don't,
just
man.
like
Much.
super
Good
important.
episode. Been down here for the last 48 hours. I'm
Yeah,
we're
tired. We're tired. We've been
tired.
We're good.
Been
Cranking out the
labbing it
content.
I've been labbing it shit. I don't know how many hours this weekend, but
Yeah.
it's been fun.
It
Been a lot
has.
of fun.
Yep, a lot of content we've created for you guys, which will all come out in due time. I got a lot of, Lurch has got some podcast editing. I got some video editing to do.
Nice.
But that never stops. So yeah, with that said, guys,
Ooh, snap.
take it
Here
out of here.
comes.
Number 2, under your belt. That was the episode number 2 for Cowboy there. And thanks for being here, bro. Like I say,
love it.
anytime you guys want to come down, Popeye knows you can, or if there's a, topic or subject matter you want to talk about, we're always open. Just because I don't invite you doesn't mean you can't come down.
Yep.
You can always get a hold of me and say, hey, I want to do a podcast. We'll figure something out because I just love when guys want to come down and do it.
Hopefully be down here in the next month or so to get another one in.
Yeah, what are we doing on that, bro?
We're going to figure that out.
Adventure riding again.
Yep,
We
another
did-
adventure ride. My buddy Adam, if you guys remember last year, had went up to the Yukon. He went back to the Yukon this
Lucky
year.
dog.
Yeah, all right. He
Dual
went back
sport
again
life.
this year and with his adventure bike, and he's got all kinds of information and content. Hopefully be bringing that to you guys. I mean, we would like to branch out here. It's just a matter of time and money. But that's what he's doing. He likes that adventure stuff. And so hopefully we can get him down here and get him talking about what his experience was like up in the Yukon this year.
That'll be fun. And also episodes coming up. I'm going to get down here. We're all, like he said, Popeye, we're trying to branch out. And we all are interested. It's a matter of time, really, because we all work full-time jobs. And then, I do lab on the side. And the other guys are busy with side projects and stuff. Big Daddy and Oscar recently got dual sports at least. We're trying, we're never going to give up our Harleys and our trips and street riding. That's the foundation of Law Abiding Biker Media, but we are interested in this thing they call adventure riding, and especially when I retire from the Leo job. So I fully see in the future me also getting an adventure bike, so that's why I'm so interested in that, and doing some of that riding off-road, Forest Service roads, and getting to see some things, some different things, and just kind of...
Beautiful country out there, man. Got to get out there and see this place they call America.
America,
Get out there
dude.
and see it.
America. So we got some episodes coming up like that if you're at all interested in that stuff, and I know those episodes did well. And last, before we take it out, call to action. Very briefly, we're up in the Law Abiding Biker store for you guys. Behind the scenes, we're always working deals and we're growing. We got a big distributorship. We're going to we're revamping our website. We're rebuilding it, a new, cleaner, more functional look and experience for you. More products, and they'll be brought on over time. So keep checking back at the Law Abiding Biker store because we are going to be adding a lot of stuff. Big Daddy Kane and Grunt. Goat now. It's Grunt, Goat, whatever you want to call it.
The old guy.
Goat down there. The old guy. And Scooter down there is getting really involved. We're going to be bringing those products to you guys. Those guys are running it down there. And shout out to them. If you ever want to hit them up down there, you can go to the store contact page. But that is a way. There's many ways to support us, but certainly purchasing from our store is definitely a good way to support us. Whew.
Wow, that was a lot.
It's been 2 episodes.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot when you're doing 2
Someday.
episodes
Killing
back
it,
to
bro.
back.
Killing it.
Yeah.
You're killing it, bro.
Thanks for being here.
You betcha.
Cowboy.
Happy to be here.
Take us out.
Popeye, we're out of here.